Hi everyone. I thought I would do a video of my updated, or rather current skincare routine, since it's always changing and might as well just talk about where it is right now. I am 35. I'm currently pregnant in my second trimester, so 19 weeks actually today. My son is actually awake and in here, so we'll see how this goes. He's almost 2. And so my T-zone is, right now it's less oily than it usually is. While pregnant, my oil levels seem to go down a bit. So it's just kind of oily, but not super oily. My cheeks are a little bit drier than normal. During the winter, they're very dry. During the summer, they're closer to normal, still a little dry. But right now, with the pregnancy, they're a little bit drier than normal. So I would say they're actually dry. I am acne prone in my chin, so I tend to get breakouts there. And I also have a fair amount of little red bumps around my nose. I don't know if that's rosacea or not. Is there like makeup here, or is that just a freckle? That's an often a question I ask myself. Is that makeup or is it a freckle? Let's see what else. So I have just some kind of general redness. I don't have much makeup on my face left. I only had a little bit of kind of sheared out concealer and mineral powder earlier in the day. Right now I just blotted my face and added a very, very light amount of the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural and Light. So just to get all of that out of the way. So morning skincare routine. Before I was pregnant, I would wash my face at the sink with this Trader Joe's. The current one I was using is this Trader Joe's Nourish all-in-one facial cleanser. It doesn't hurt my eyes. It can remove makeup. I've used it in the evening in the past to remove makeup. It does leave my face feeling a little bit dry, but just about everything I've ever tried does. But yeah, you can get it in your eyes. It doesn't hurt. It just seems like a nice kind of gentle foaming cleanser. So that's what I was using. But then I got morning sickness, and being in our little teeny tiny bathroom, and you know, even the smell of toilet paper was just making me queasy. So I stopped washing my face in the sink in the morning and started using this simple micellar water. And because it's so easy, I've just stuck with it and I like it. It adds a little bit of moisture to my skin. So I just use a cotton pad and just kind of run that all over my face. And it also helps with a little bit of kind of leftover makeup that you just never seem to get at all at night. So that kind of cleans that up. And then I use the Paula's Choice Clear Ultralight Mattifying Daily Mattifying Fluid Broad Spectrum SPF 30. This says it's a moisturizer plus SPF. I don't find it to be mattifying, but I've never found any sort of liquid anything really to be mattifying on my face as far as skincare goes. And I'm almost through with this current tube, and I do have another one, I believe, waiting in the wings. I really like the texture of it. It is extremely watery and thin, which I really like. You see that really thin texture, so it just rubs in really easily, really fast, and I'm good to go. So it's not quite enough moisture for my cheeks, and if I'm going to be putting a foundation on my cheeks, they may show that kind of dryness, so it is better for me to just add like a more moisturizing primer before I put any foundation on my cheeks. If I'm not wearing any makeup, it's fine, they don't look dry. Especially since it doesn't have that mattifying effect. So everything's a little bit shiny. And yeah, that's it. So most days, this is all I'm doing, the micellar and then the SPF. If I'm washing with the soap and water, then I do use this Paula's Choice Skin Balancing Pore Reducing Toner. And I actually want to try to figure out how I can fit this into my routine. Otherwise, I might start using it after the micellar water. It's just since this adds a little bit moisture as opposed to washing with the soap, this kind of helped with the moisture content, but I do actually really enjoy this, and this is the first time I've used a toner, but I liked what it did after washing my face with soap. So yeah, I gotta figure out if I can stick this into my routine without it causing any sort of like breakouts or clogging or whatever from the extra moisture. We'll see. So that would be the morning stuff. So in the evening, I wash my face in the shower, and that's where I remove my makeup. I want a soap essentially that's going to wash my face and take my makeup off at the same time, because I don't want to have to do two things to take off my makeup. So what I've been using lately is the CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser, and this is for normal to dry skin. It doesn't foam. It almost feels like a lotion. Well, it's not like a lotion. It's not like a cream cleanser, but it's more like this moisturizer than it is like a soap. And I find that this is really not very good at removing makeup at all. I thought because the more kind of lotiony, emollient type formula would be better at breaking down eye makeup, but it's really not so great at it. Some mascaras, like the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, it really does not remove well. It just ends up kind of smearing around on my face. It's okay. I've also tried the CeraVe foaming facial wash, whatever it's called, and I think I like that one better. And if I do, like with certain mascaras or the waterproof eyeliners where it just doesn't remove very well, I use the Rimmel eye makeup remover that's called Let It Go, I think. And it's kind of like a micellar water, but it isn't one technically. Oh, that's funny. That was Colin and his little crib soother thing that we just keep out as a toy. Where was I going? Yeah, so that eye makeup remover I'll use to kind of clean up whatever is left. So the first thing I do after I wash my face, after I get out of the shower, is I apply this Paula's Choice Skin Perfecting 2% BHA gel. This is salicylic acid. There is some concern out there about salicylic acid in pregnancy. If you're being very conservative, then you may not want to use it. Paula's Choice does have an article about, if you have any concerns or questions, of course, talk to your doctor, but they say within 2%, anything, over-the-counter type products of 2% percentages or less, you should be fine during pregnancy. I feel comfortable with that, and this makes a huge difference as far as breakouts. I did cut this out for a little bit when I first got pregnant, just to see how it would do, to see, why not if it's not going to make a big deal. But I was having a lot of kind of cystic type, nodular, painful, large, sore blemishes on my chin, and once I brought this back into my routine, those went away. So I really do like this for the acne, keeping the acne at bay. The next step that is newer in my routine, but I also really like, is the Paula's Choice Resist Ultralight Super Antioxidant Concentrate Serum. So they have one that's with retinol, and it's like super silicone-y. The texture is like the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer type thing. It was not a texture that I enjoyed, and I was a little worried that this one was going to be similar. But this is like it's not a really thin serum, but it's more like what you would expect from a serum. So and what I really like about it is that it just absorbs in really nicely. It doesn't leave kind of a tacky residue. It's just very, very pleasurable to use. So I need to order some more because this one is getting kind of low. Definitely would repurchase and recommend that. So those are the two things that I always do. But then beyond that, I have a bunch of different things that I kind of swap in depending on what the state of my skin is. If it's feeling dry, if it's feeling like I'm getting some breakouts because there's too much moisture, that kind of thing. What I use most often is the CeraVe Facial Moisturizing Lotion. This is for normal to dry skin, and I'll use that on my cheeks and around my eyes. And if I'm having some flakiness, I'll put it around like the base of my nose and this part under my lip, which I tend to get dermatitis, which kind of peels and gets irritated. So most often that's what I do. Some days where if I feel like I'm getting a lot of just kind of general dry spots, sometimes I'll get right up here at my hairline. This part of my forehead will get kind of dry, and I feel like makeup is catching kind of weirdly. Probably what I should do is just a manual exfoliation with a washcloth, but since that's just not happening lately, I'll use this Paula's Choice Hydralight Moisture Infusing Lotion, and I'll use that everywhere. The only issue I have with this is occasionally those spots that I do get the dermatitis that are way more sensitive than any other area, sometimes this will make them burn. It does smell kind of like cucumber, which I find kind of refreshing and not irritating. It's from the extract in it, not from a fragrance. So it doesn't make me queasy, thankfully. Thankfully, the smell of cucumber is okay. So I do actually enjoy the scent, but I know a lot of people don't like that smell, so that's just kind of a heads up in case you really don't like cucumber. Because I don't feel like it's very prominently mentioned in the product page. If I'm feeling like my dry areas are really dry, I'll use the Paula's Choice Moisture Boost Hydrating Treatment Cream. This is something I used a lot more during the winter, and so this I'll use every 3 or 4 days maybe, and I'll just use it on the cheeks and around the eyes. And I really, really enjoy this cream. It's not for very dry skin, but if you have on the drier side of normal, I think this is quite nice. What I also do sometimes when I'm trying to do things quickly and I feel like there's enough dryness in my skin to justify it, I'll use the Paula's Choice Resist Moisture Renewal Oil Booster. This is a deluxe sample that came free with some order. It was a promotion a while back, and I have actually purchased this full size. And I'll add this to the serum, and that way I can just do both the moisturizing and the serum step all in one. But I do find if I do that too many days in a row during the summer that my face does break out a little bit. So I kind of do this when I can. I would like to do it all the time just because it would make things easier. But when you have pretty starkly combination skin, a lot of times you just have to do separate skin care for your separate parts of your face, which is annoying. So that's it. Those are all the different kind of configurations I use in the evening. So I try to keep the number of products I'm using on my face to a minimum just because I feel like I end up spending so much time doing my skincare after my shower. And I just want to kind of get in bed and wind down and read a book or watch some YouTube videos. So I do want to try to do it quickly, but when you have the separate steps of like the exfoliant and the serum and the moisturizer, it just feels like it's taking forever. So this kind of skincare routine I feel like keeps my face in a pretty good state. The acne is at a minimum, just have some very small breakouts right now. I don't know if I've ever really noticed a reduction in redness. The small bumps I have, like red bumps around my nose, may or may not be a rosacea type thing. I'm not sure. I definitely have redness in my nose and in my cheeks. And the red bumps are only really around my nose, and it doesn't seem like they're acne related. They just seem to always be there. So I haven't really noticed a huge decrease of anything like that redness wise. And I know a lot of products, even with Paula's Choice, claim to reduce redness, but I don't know, I guess if your skin's already in a good condition, there's only so much that a skincare product like that can do. I'm not really sure. I do have some wrinkles, fine lines, whatever. I have some creases around my eyes that are just kind of due to my facial setup, and I have some kind of beginnings of some lines around the corners of my eyes. I do have some wrinkles around my mouth. I don't know that anything I've used has really made any difference with those. They don't seem to be at a standstill, and they're not getting better, but they're not getting worse. Noticeably worse. I don't know. And I think a lot of that too can depend just on the dryness of my skin and that kind of thing. And these tend to be a little bit more dry areas. So, and also when I gain weight in my face, and so the skin of my face has stretched a little bit. And so I know places like here, I think it's just because the skin is a little bit loose and never snapped back. So there's also, like, you know, when I smile and I get some kind of, you notice the looser skin there. I think that's just due to the weight gain in my face in the past. So there's nothing that a skincare product can do about that. But overall, I'm pretty happy with my routine. I obviously really like Paula's Choice. I really appreciate their methods for skincare, where they're only using products that have clinical research that backs up their claims and does what it says. They don't want to use any sort of irritating products and irritating ingredients in their products, and I appreciate that. And I feel like they're fairly reasonably priced, but they do also often have sales, and they also, you can use Ebates with them, and I think Mr. Rebates as well. So I feel like the prices are maybe a touch high, but when you factor in the fact that you can almost always wait for a sale and get some cash back, it's pretty reasonable. It's not drugstore, but it's approaching drugstore. It's not department store type pricing, and they don't use any fragrances, which kind of ties into the no irritants, that kind of thing. Yeah, this is like almost all Paula's Choice now that I look at it. There's only like 2 or 3 things that aren't. I probably have an affiliate link of some sort that probably gives you like a coupon discount type thing for Paula's Choice if you're interested. You certainly don't need to use any link like that to purchase from them. And if you look online, there is probably some sort of coupon somebody can give you if you're a new customer, that kind of thing. But I think that's it. So I will try to include all the information about the products below. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. And I think that's everything. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.